we'll start, huh? We're going to start here in a minute or two. Welcome. This is a great turnout. Thank you all so much for coming. This is a very special evening to be here with Mary Zeppa, Connie Gutowsky, two great friends. And as you know, their books have come out today, and we're very honored to be able to publish their books. Connie's going to read first. All those things I was going to say, and then I had a couple glasses of wine. So I want to point out. So Random Lane Press has been around since, I think Connie Gutowsky was our very first book, about maybe 15 years ago now. And so you can see all the books in the back. That's a lot of what we've done. That's a big part of it. And we've got, besides Mary and Connie, Rick Rayburn is in the house. He's got a couple of books back there. Linda Collins, who's been pouring wine. Stan Zumbiel's here. He's got a new edition of his earlier book, which is a wonderful edition of Standing Watch. Stan, where's Stan? Lawrence Dinkins, Ensa Oz here, our videographer. And Connie, we have one of your old books here. We don't have the other one's out of print. You know, it's just like hotcakes, just flew off the shelves. So I wanted to thank, and I want to thank Oakmont, and we've had a lot of fun putting these books together and learning stuff as we go along. So this is a really special day. So I'm gonna ask John Allen Cann, who has worked with Connie and with me, and we've done a lot of projects together. And he came the farthest distance to get here. I was thinking of Odysseus, because in Anchor Bay it's like 64 degrees, and he came back here, and I thought he gets here, and he and Penelope are going to want to sail off into the west and change the story. So anyway, so John's going to introduce Connie and talk a little bit about impressions.
I was sweating before I got out of the room where we're staying. My God. Anyway, great to be here. Connie was introduced to me by Bob. She said she wanted to work with somebody. Can you hear me all right? Okay, good. She wanted to work with somebody, and we've been working 23, 24 years. And to be honest, I never thought this book would be finished and published. And I was surprised. It was a long haul. We've been working on it together for 7 years. It's been an enlightening tour through the life of Monet and his circle. And we've at certain times we would dive into Normandy or the train stations in Paris, and we would Venice, and interestingly enough, there was this Venice show down in San Francisco. I don't know if people have seen it, but it was kind of a capper for this endeavor. No one writes like her, and for me, the poems that are strongest in the book are the ones where she talks about her family, and Al, and the trips that she did to Giverny, and her experiences there. And then, of course, the paintings are charming as only her paintings are. And so without saying much more, let me introduce to you the author of Monet Impressions. Oh, Impressions Monet. See, I don't even know the title. Connie Gutowsky.
I got it. I got you here. Let's see. We're going to come around this way. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Impressions Monet. 1. Paris, the first time. Newlyweds, 1965. Intimacy, joy. $5 a day for 17 days, $3.50 a night, a double room on the left bank, Rue des écoles. Every morning, café au lait, small baguettes, apricot jam, a dish of fresh butter. After breakfast, the crunch of gravel underfoot in the Jardin des Tuileries, my first real taste of Claude Monet at le Musée de Jeux de Paume. As a student, Monet caricatured teachers and townspeople who paid for the renderings. Big noses, tiny feet. His father considered him a failure, despairing of his projects. Not a caricaturist, not an not an artist. I drew garlands in the margins of my books and covered the blue paper of my exercise books with the most fantastical ornaments, which included highly irreverent drawings of my masters, full face or profile, with minimum distortion. Eugène Boudin saw Monet's drawings in a frame shop window in Le Havre, introduced himself, taught the young man to paint en plein air, filling brushes with lavish colors. They stroked paint on canvases under a Normandy sky. Obdurate from the start, Monet rejects the grocery business. At 17, he moves to Paris to study art with letters of introduction from Boudin and his rich aunt, widowed Aunt Le Cadre, who provides an allowance. His friends, Renoir and Pissarro, are fellow art students. He insults the others. Just a lot of grocer's assistants. Seduced by the bohemian lifestyle, he debauches for 3 years. Expensive cuisines, good wine, the best brothels. He needs money, as he said, to live it up with my friends. When the allowance ends, he rents a studio with Renoir. Both hunger for fame. They become recognized and to sell. All they can afford, coal for the stove, to keep the models from freezing, and to cook. Unlike Renoir, Monet never paints anyone in the nude, nor do his notebook drawings depict anyone that way. An unlucky lottery number in the national conscription forces Monet to enlist. After a year in Mustafa, Algeria, he deserts, is captured, imprisoned, becomes desperately ill with typhus, is shipped home to Le Havre, recovers. With 3,000 francs, more than a factory worker's annual income, Aunt Le Cadre buys him out of the army. He returns to Paris chastened, rededicates himself to the rituals and routines of art. He meets Camille Dancieux. Camille's family had moved to Paris when she was very young. At 18, she leaves her comfortable home, becomes a model, never nude, for Basile, Rodin, Manet, Renoir, and then Monet. A genius at holding an elegant pose for hours with statutory stillness. A genuine quality, a quality of light she carries, a presence. Artists often fall in love with their models. A model posing for hours often experiences a singular privilege, watching the artist painter in a collaborative creation. A mutual energy radiates between them, a creative energy. Camille is graceful in her body. She gives permission when she models without being seductive. She invites both confident and shy, being painted. All the artists delight in her physical charm. Her enchanting brown hair, dark eyes, splendid figure. Meditative, determined, with a taste for work, she becomes Monet's premier model. Her friends call her La Monette. In the painting that gives him the first taste of fortune, Camille is portrayed life-size, wearing a radiant green silk gown with warm brown stripes and a fur-trimmed jacket, standing on an ochre carpet. Émile Zola, in a review of the 1866 Salon exhibit, writes, "I don't know, Monsieur Monet. I don't even think I've ever seen a single canvas of his. Yet I almost feel like one of his friends, and that's because his painting speaks whole volumes to me about energy and truth. Notice the dress, how subtle it is, how solid. It trails softly. It is alive. It declares loud and clear who this woman is." By titling the painting Camille with only her first name, Monet makes clear she is now his maîtresse. After Camille, acclaim. Commissions. Old paintings bring in new money. They skip out of Paris, leave debts unpaid, rent a small house with a luscious garden. Ever a reckless and extravagant spender who lives beyond his means, with a taste for very expensive clothes and fine foods, for canvases and palettes, he's soon stone broke again. They move back to Paris. She's pregnant. I return to Normandy to workshop with 12 artists. A bus takes us to Le Moulin Bachet, a converted old mill. We gather in the conference room. This is a leap ahead. This is August 2022. This is me speaking. Skip sparkling cider, nibble tiny cheese tarts, get acquainted. Our instructor, Anne Hunt, long brown hair flowing from beneath her wide-brim hat, advises us to always sketch a few minutes before painting. She gives field trips, paint ships, field tips, paint shapes, not objects. Be selective. Rearrange if necessary. Large shapes first, details last. Regard each painting as practice, as if practicing the piano. Then practice, practice, practice. We learn to paint a cloudy sky en plein air. Darkest blue up high, shade lighter and lighter to the horizon, leaving open spaces blank for the clouds. Keep the green hills in the distance and the stubble of the harvest wheat fields up close. It was so windy. Palettes, brushes, and paints blown to the ground. My water spills on old trousers. The last day, a watercolor wild yellow water lilies. No, I watercolor wild yellow water lilies. A heart-shaped leaf floats beneath a 16th century bridge. Look, the leaves are ellipses, not round. We're almost through. Okay. In late afternoon, everyone picks one of their paintings for critique. Your vision is always ahead of your skill level. Soften the edges of the trees. The V of the trunk, too pronounced. The horizon line doesn't deserve the painting. Make your brush strokes horizontal if you want the path to sit down. When an artist has found her voice, it is recognizable by her colors and techniques. Paintings are never finished. They are just interesting places to stop. Anne said her goal was to convey the happiness of the day. Al and I, this is 2006, Al and I were alone in Paris, alone, staying in a small hotel that we learned about in the Sacramento Bee because it had been designed by a local couple. And though charming, was quite far from the places in Paris we wished to visit. So we spent plenty on cab fare. Breakfast was brought to our bedroom and included chocolate croissants and café crème for two. The objective of the day was the newly reopened Musée de l'Orangerie, where we'd experienced Monet's monumental undertaking of creating an immersive studio of his beloved water lilies. We taxied to the museum right when it opened, and happily for a time we had the water lilies all to ourselves. Both of us were speechless as we toured the panels that imbued us with the slow, almost magical changes from morning to dusk in the world of Monet's garden and pond. We sat on a bench side by side and marveled at the seamless panels. In particular, we were mesmerized by a panel in the second room entitled Morning with the Willows, of clouds reflected in the indigo waters, water lilies scattered loosely, shaded by the deep green foliage hanging from the sturdy willow. It was like being kissed. for the very first time. Thank you. Thank you.
So, Connie, those were selected poems, right, from the book?
Yes, they were. The entire book, is something to read on your own.
All right, thank you. One more time for Connie Gutowsky.
One more thing, it's not an academic work at all, like there are no footnotes or anything. But I think I read every single book about Monet in English, and one that was in French. Is it called En face, where it has English on one side, French in the other? And I think were there 22 books?
There's like 30 books in the bibliography.
30. So, I mean, Monet.
There you have it, Monet. That was fun. All right, so Patrick is going to introduce Mary, but I'll thank Mary for all she's done for me and kind of brought me into the poetry world. Mary and Stan brought me into the Poetry Center about 200 years ago, right after Wordsworth. So, but you kind of kept things going for kept the Poetry Center alive, the keeper of the flame. So, Pat, are you in the building here? Here's someone who also is comfortable with a microphone.
Are you running away?
Yes.
I'll give you the center spot.
Oh, okay. Can I sit?
You can sit.
Hi, Mary.
My sweetheart.
So, Bob asked me earlier today if I would introduce Mary tonight, and of course I went into a panic and wrote like 4 pages of stuff and whittled it down, and probably won't refer to much of it, but I don't know. I don't know that I have to. One of the things that struck me about the poems in the book is a sense of memory and contemporary time, and how that gets braided, and this sense that when we look back at things, time shifts, and it makes perfect sense in that regard. And so that's kind of where my mind went today, thinking about that and just thinking of this sort of long history that we have. And Mary and I were part of a very early bit for the first couple of decades or so, and she stayed. Mary's like the longest standing board member of the Poetry Center, probably something that'll never be duplicated, and so besides being having this meaningful relationship, and because of long acquaintance, we've shared a lot of things that people do in living a long life and shared time. But I kept thinking about, obviously, Poetry Center stuff. Mary also was instrumental in helping to get some of the publications up a notch, as was Susan Kelly DeWitt and other folks. But her contributions, Steve, in Poet News, by the way, we need you back because we need those. Yeah, we need that quality of interview and essay again in Poet News. Yeah, right. She was one of the builders. She was one of the foundational people in the Poetry Center from very early on. I was there in '79. Mary was there in '80 or '81 or something like that. So a lot of things happened. The Poetry Center is now in its 47th year. Mary was instrumental in creating a document called Keepers of the Flame, which Bob just mentioned, which is a history of the Poetry Center, and which we're going to try to update soon.
Get those 30 years.
Yeah, the first 30 years. Yeah, yeah. She was one of the co-founders with myself and Julia Connor of Thule Review, which was then just a tabloid, and it went through many iterations before it gotten to its current state. And those things are meaningful and important. And I think Mary's contributions have been recognized and accounted for and admired by lots of people in this room. And it continues through this book. I mean, that contribution, even though maybe it's not in the same public way as it was before, the work is the thing that makes all of the difference in the world. And I think this is a beautiful book. There were a couple things I wrote down. I'm trying my best not to ignore them, because it's just facts, like publications. And she had this, and she had a poem in this thing, and she's included in this anthology, which we all know. I think the thing that I do keep coming back to is the work in the book, and I just want to read a little piece of a poem called Shadow of Blossom That Isn't a Blossom. Each nuance and every last wrinkle sustained by updrafts of grace. I think the title flows into the poem at that thing. And the book is rich in both nuance and grace. It does wonderful things with time and memory and music, which is also very important to Mary, as you know. And I'm just honored to be able to introduce my old friend, with emphasis on the friend not
yes.
the old.
Thank God.
Mary Zeppa.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Okay, and I'm going to go left-handed now. You want me to hold it? Hold the mic? Or you want to hold it?
Probably hold it.
Okay. And I can hold this up if you want.
Okay.
Tilt this up.
How's
that?
he's full service, I'm telling you. Just don't put it in front of my face. That's all I ask. Yeah.
Oh, in front of you, yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
So,
See?
Okay.
Took several women to get the point across, but
You want me to change my dress?
I was going to say, and now for something completely different. This is just a tiny little introductory thing that I thought of recently. I can, in this hour that will not remember me, breathe in all the air that I need to let my little light blaze. Now, some poems from the book. I think we probably all have family legends. They tell us stories about our families, our ancestors. Who knows if they're true or not? I certainly don't know. So this one is called Ancestry, and it's about my maternal great-grandparents, I guess they would be, from Scotland. Ancestry. McRose. A lithe, furtive man ducking down into shadow, his legs bare, his kilt brushing dirt. In hiding from elders, the headman, the woman, from footfalls, from torches, from shouts. Maybe they chased him over the ocean because he stole money or love from a virgin. Maybe he stowed away nights in the crow's nest, days in a barrel of wheat. Or maybe he managed second-class passage at night, at dusk, at the railing, to watch the moon rising, to be the long shadow they watched for in Dumfriesshire. That shadow, that shadow looking over his shoulder, who stepped at last on the dirt called America and became new, became Rose of the Great Plains, Ogler of Buffalo, he who wore short skirts and danced among maidens, Apache or Paiute or Sioux. Some say he traded a mule, some a stallion, for the woman whose name no one knows. But her eyes look out of the family album, the face of the legend my mother still wears. Mrs. McRose. From a tent or a cabin somewhere near Plainville, she walked into sunlight, drying her hands. As their pack horse lurched toward her with its clumsy burden, her man's body lashed to its back. And their 6 black-eyed sons and their 4 black-eyed daughters eddied around her, weeping her tears. Or one son beside her, the only survivor of 20 pregnancies bearing their blood. Legend, like I say, but this is closer to. I just saw some of the staff peek in when they can. This is closer in time. It's my parents' origin story. I came from the Methodist Lutheran collision. From the rustle of cornstalks, the sparks in the hymnal, I came from the whispers of boarding house courtship, of Norman, the milkman who always delivered. I came from their freckled, insistent bodies, from their May before they ship him out wedding. I came out of World War II, redhead, contrary, singing small, slippery, invented tunes. Now, I have it on good authority that I was a redhead when I was born. I'm told there was a redheaded nurse in the hospital who said, my mother said was going to take me home. But anyway, this is completely invented, but I admit I kind of love it. It's called Lieselot's Favor and Grace. Dear great Aunt Lieselot, you were that pleasing shape just to the left of the elms, next to Gunter, your lover, who's unaware how quickly he would be tamed. Already shadows settle between you. Jostle the basket, the picnic. Let me start again. Jostle the picnic tucked into its basket. Jostle the twins tucked in you. Nothing left now of the scandal. Nothing left now of the town. Of the square where the whispers all started, not even one cobblestone. Although there's no headstone to mark it, your bones lie somewhere near this grove. Your twins grew to womanhood cherished by Gunter's meek, actual wife. Thus, your red hair and blue eyes come down to us. Our old women's white, lustrous waves are still tinged with a faint pink patina handed down from those sweet, supple days. Thank you for the sighs. I appreciate that. Okay. Blessing what's yet to be lost. Blessed be the cerebral cortex, its bustle, its chatter, its crowd. Blessed be the amygdala rocking the curly-haired, dimpled, dead child. Blessed be the spine that will hold us to the task, to the thing that gets done. Blessed be the life she's forgetting, my mother, the obdurate one. Blessed be the strength she remembers. Blessed be the hay bales she tossed. Blessed be the rib cage rasp of the thin. Blessed be our rattling embrace. Come on. I do. I often say no decent tune is safe around me because I will take many tunes and set my own words to the tune. So I'm only going to do one. I hope I can do it decently. This is, I always say free variation on the tune. It's Rodgers and Hammerstein's It Might As Well Be Spring. It's called Last Spring. The camellias tempt the robins this year, Norman, just as they've done every other year before. But this year you're not beside her, chalking up the robin's score. And the daffodils are poking up their heads now Easter lilies soon will be in every store. On your year-old grave she'll plant one, resurrection's metaphor. Some days when she stumbles out of sleep, wakes up to this dead still life, there's a voice that isn't quite a ghost, singing out, "Where are you, wife?" It's the voice you summoned up one last time, Norman, from the fog where you had lost your daughter's names, to say, "I'm so glad I found you last year when your last spring came." Thank you. A little raspy, but he actually said that to my mother, and he was deep into dementia at that point. They were looking at photo albums, and he said to her, "I'm so glad I found you." Yeah, how about that, eh? When we had a funeral service for him, my mother spoke, and she quoted that, and she looked out at the congregation and said, "You men, remember this." Think about that. Okay. Okay, now I'm in autumn. Autumn, the dwindling down. The butterfly bush waves its last purple blossoms. Bees swing from the blooms of the white, long-stemmed no-names. Out I step into the bright autumn morning, lifting my full coffee cup. A hummingbird, green, sudden, buzzes my ear, taking me in my gray speckled sweatsuit for furniture. I freeze in place, full coffee cup to my mouth, as the hummingbird brushes, oblivious, past me. Red, feeder, buzz, nectar, gone. My mother still wants to weed what was her garden, wants to kneel in the lava rock, yanking up crabgrass, then be pulled to her feet by a pretty boy lover, by her high school beau, or my fair freckled father. Some days she'd prefer one, sometimes the other. I turned too far. Sometimes the other. Always green shadows behind the last roses, ghosts we invite so the winter won't catch us. Let's sing a few bars of a country song backward. Get our trucks back, our dogs back, our pretty boy lovers out of their graves. Thank you. Do you think I could have a little more of that liquid?
You want water or wine?
Wine is fine.
Okay.
It's right here.
These are poets here.
Thank you. Cheers. Okay. Some years back, I volunteered at Shriners Hospital for a couple of years. And Joanne is here. She knows about that, too. I think this was before you came, because I was doing the schoolroom at this point. And this is called Brittany's New Legs. Made, not begotten. Her new feet, her new calves, made to measure for stumps sheathed in flesh-pink elastic. Her long thighs, what's left of her knees. Prosthesis, replacement, attachment, replica, freedom, and chain, on which she will walk into high school, sure as the chrysalis dreams. She is 15. Her stumps enter every room first, jutting out over the wheelchair. She steers with panache and lean fingers, whose blue and glittering nails just match her shirt and the wide velvet band holding back her free fall of dark hair. Silver studs, she glides her chair up to my table. Silver studs pierce both our ears. I'm here to remind her how to subtract what we know and how we guess. In this sunny hospital classroom where Brittany can erase. I'm quoting her, 15, and this had to happen. She means meningitis, means flesh so inflamed it burns away the old life. And this is for one of the other kids. I think this was mixed up, but anyway, we'll deal with it. This is for two of the other kids. This was after we started doing the poetry, and I was amanuensis, or I took dictation from one of the boys. So it's called The Ring of Life, and it's for CB, Michael, and the hospital poetry class. The ring of life broke CB's bones in the birth canal, torched Michael's 4-month-old flesh. I'm 58, whole, lucky, mobile, stepping between their wheelchairs. Michael, age 7, lacks eyelashes, eyebrows, for a nose has a small, tender snout. But he holds his own foam-padded pencil with the small, clever stubs of both hands. CB is 15. His neck's at an angle my mind must work to accept. But what for him is his body, his element since his first breath. And his long-fingered hands aren't quite useless. They can just grip the notebook I pass. They can just stroke the bark of the hickory slice he asked me to lay in his lap. The Ring of Life is his title, the first 4 words he dictates to me, volunteer amanuensis. CB, whose eyes are not easy to meet, is talking around an impediment. A hesitate, not quite a lisp. Life, this is his words, life is like a tree. You never know when it's going to grow, blossom, or change. It can be big or slow, and you never know how it's going to look or how it's going to go. He's done 15 years in this body, with its still legs, its stiff, twisted feet. Again, quoting him, you go for a while like you're on a boat on the river, and the current's fighting against you. CB flows through my brain, through my ears, through my pen, through my viable arthritic thumbs. While beside us, ingenious Michael is taking a Russian doll inside doll, inside doll, inside doll, apart with the speed of some lights. True story. You took some things out. Yes, you did.
Well, I did this yesterday.
I get it. It's just,
I think I did all the poems you sent me.
no.
Okay.
But I forgive you.
So you've got this one and this one, 1, 2, and then we've got
No, these are,
3, 4,
yeah, those
5 more.
okay.
Which one do you want?
Well, I was going to do one that's not here, which is, he was born on the 4th candle for Manny, a Hanukkah baby.
It's in the book.
It's in the book.
You want me to find it?
Oh, I can find it. Pardon me. Can you hold this for a moment?
You bet.
Forgive me, I usually smooth.
Oh, you wrote Born 4th Candle. I missed it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you read that? That'll work. Page 56.
I hate having to put my reading glasses on because then I won't be able to see your faces. But What a wise guy he is. Okay. It's a very Jewish poem. I assume you all know what Hanukkah is and the menorah and so forth. I don't have to gloss that. He was Jewish. I am not, but I like ritual. And so I was always the one who remembered it was time to get the menorah out and do we have enough candles and all that sort of thing. And this is the story. I only know the truth of the fact that he was, in fact, born on the fourth candle, and I made up the rest of it. Because, as Jenna Schmitz was wont to say, we lie in poems all the time. He was born on the fourth candle, my husband, so solid and rosy and jowly a baby, no one could believe she was rocking a newborn. She, Brooka, his mamala, who'd only just lit the fourth candle, not cinching even a finger, when down she went, seized up by pain with a rhythm. And there, on the floor, lit by God's last menorah, his big head wrenched out of her body, her wet, shaking body, and she grabbed out with both her hands, cursing and wailing, her tongue its own beacon of pain. I made it all up, except for the fourth candle part.
Okay, back to this?
Thank you, yes.
Okay, good job.
This is another,
Hold this.
yeah, thank you.
That.
Another Jewish poem, and I was there for this one.
True story?
True story. It's called Rodeo Shabbat. Oh, I should tell you, for those people who don't know, that a talit is a prayer shawl. Rodeo Shabbat. The rabbi tilts back his Stetson, sweeps his silver gray talit over one shoulder, plants the heels of his black cowboy boots, and it's soaring, his tenor, out aloft like a banner. They'd follow him anywhere, tribe of this Friday night, in their fringed leather jackets, turquoise stars of David. In the 10-gallon hats, they've eased over their yarmulkes. In Tucson, Arizona, this temple remembers. Rivka and Abraham shake out their backbones for the bubbas who went up in smoke. Some who sway, who sing joy in this radiant room, some who clap hands to Shabbat Shalom, could have been shadows at Dachau, ghosts at Theresienstadt. Now their voices irradiate darkness. Two are waving their 10-gallon hats for the pure joy of keeping God's rhythm on the pulse, on the pulse, on the pulse. All true? That one's true.
Is that Abe and Rivka? Or different Rivka and Abe?
Yeah, I don't know what those people's names were. I was in the congregation, but I didn't meet them.
Oh, she made that up.
I made that up.
Okay. True story.
True story with a little embellishment, you know?
Did you make up the part about the hat over the yarmulke?
No, they actually did that. They put the 10-gallon hats over the yarmulkes. It was quite a thing. You have to go to that particular place, I think, to see that happen. So, this is the title poem of the book, called We Wish. It was just a poem, and then it became my half of our vows when we got married. We wish. We wish we could be everything together, grow up together, braid our budding lives, could stumble through a teasing teenage courtship, be hot and heavy in your dad's old Dodge. We wish we could be 20, newlyweds, and share a single brush to paint the trim of every window in our bungalow bright yellow so the blooming could begin. We wish we could be pregnant, you and I. Could watch my belly ripple, speculate about the sex of that new power kicker. Would blue eyes open in that petal face? We wish you held my right hand as I moaned. Between contractions fed me chips of ice. We wish you held our baby to my breast. We wish that we could watch our firstborn take that first small step, that tiny, focused face. While I stood pressed against you, back to chest, your arms around me settled at my waist. We wish it was a lifetime to the deathbed. We wish the curly hair back on your head. We wish our passion was that famous fountain. We sip, lap, suckle wishes, greedy-tongued. Thank you. I think I'm going to skip that one. But he had dementia, my brilliant husband, for the last several years of his life. So both my parents had dementia too. So it's like a leitmotif, if you will. But I have a lot of poems about that, and this is one of them. It was like this. The old lady took the old man by the elbow and then by the hand. They followed a crooked path out of the city and into the old neighborhood. No one hailed them, no neighbors, no strangers. No one would meet his wild eyes. The old man was telling the story again. The old lady wished she were anywhere else. They kept company on the long journey. She pointed out every new life. The light dimmed around them and in them. They stumbled a bit. They cried. She spoke firmly, settled him on the green bench. She tucked him up, kissed his bald head, and she walked away. 10, 15, 20 steps. But she always came back. I think I'm going to do just one more. And I swear to God, this really was a spam email that came to me. True story, that I worked into this poem. It said, "Tired all the time? You may be near death." Oh, thank you. You all love it as much as I do. Tired all the time? You may be near death. He jog-trots beside me, asleep or awake, whispering in my deaf ear, "Remember," he whispers, "that hidden beach, that sharp sand, that burning blue sky, the long-fingered hands of the guy you were with as you wrestled yourselves so alive?" We listened together for last breath every long day of my life. One day he'll bend me over a deathbed, but not this morning, it seems. Death squeezes my elbow, jogs me around the bed, keeps nudging me to keep up. And we're over the threshold, another day coming, dawn sliding over our heads. Death is a roaring lad, tossing his white mane, crooning, "Let's tango instead."
So one more time for Mary. And for Connie. And that's our reading. They'll be here to sign books and to talk and maybe to have a little more of that beverage. Thank you.